Move it, everybody move, move. One of the kidnappers commanded. The captives stumbled deeper into the thick forest, their feet bleeding from the sharp stones and thorns that littered the ground. Chinaza's heart pounded in her chest as she trudged forward, her hands tied behind her back with a rough rope that bit into her skin. She had lost track of time, but she knew they had been walking for some hours. The eerie silence of the forest was broken only by the occasional sobs of some of the hostages. The kidnappers had given them a different clothes to wear. After trekking for some hours, finally, they arrived at a clearing. A dimly lit camp stood before them. Makeshift tents made of black nylon sheets and wooden planks surrounded by armed men. A small fire flickered at the center, casting long shadows over the frightened prisoners. "Sit down," one of the kidnappers barked. The captives dropped to the ground, exhausted and trembling. Chinaza swallowed hard. She couldn't believe this was happening. Just yesterday, she was laughing with Amaka, planning her visit to Emeka, her boyfriend. Now, she was trapped in a nightmare. A tall man, clearly the leader, stepped forward. His face was concealed by a black mask, but his piercing eyes sent chills down Chinaza's spine. He carried a long rifle, which he casually rested on his shoulder as he spoke. "You are all here for one reason," he said, his voice cold, devoid of emotion. "Money." A murmur ran through the group. The leader raised his rifle and fired into the air. The sharp crack of the gunshot silenced them instantly. "Listen carefully. Each of you must call your family and tell them to pay your ransom," he continued. "If your people fail to pay, you will die, and your body will not go to waste." A nervous murmur spread among the captives. Chinaza's breath hitched. The leader turned to one of the masked men. "Explain to them." Another kidnapper stepped forward. His voice was eerily calm. "For those whose family do not pay, we will sell you to organ harvesters." A woman screamed. A man began to cry. Chinaza's body turned ice cold. "Organ harvesters? Shut up," the leader barked. "We are not here to joke. One by one, you will call your family and tell them to send the money. If we sense any foolishness, you will die here." He nodded at one of the guards. "Bring the first person." A middle-aged man was dragged to his feet. His face was streaked with dirt and tears. A phone was thrust into his hands. "Call." The man fumbled with the phone, his fingers shaking. He dialed a number, and after a few seconds, someone answered. "Hello, Mama, it's me." His voice cracked. "I've been kidnapped. They are asking for 5 million naira. Gasps echoed from the captives. 5 million? The man on the phone sobbed. "Mama, please sell whatever you can. If you don't, they will kill me." The kidnappers snatched the phone from him and ended the call. "We will give your people 24 hours, the leader said. Next. One by one, the captives were forced to make phone calls. Some begged, some screamed, some prayed. The kidnappers showed no sympathy. When it was Chinaza's turn, her hands trembled as they shoved a phone into her bound hands. She dialed her mother's number. It rang twice before her mother picked up. "Chinaza, my daughter, I've been calling you," the mother said. Tears welled in Chinaza's eyes. "Mama," her voice broke. "Chinaza, what is wrong?" "Mama, I've been kidnapped." A sharp gasp came from the other end. "Jesus, my enemies will not succeed. They are asking for 5 million naira, Chinaza whispered. "If you don't pay, they will kill me." Her mother wailed. "Where will I get 5 million naira? My daughter, I don't have such money. I told you to pray. Why did you? What is going on? I am confused." Well, the kidnapper snatched the phone. "Old woman, find the money or your daughter will die. You have 24 hours. He ended the call. Chinaza collapsed onto the ground, sobbing silently. She knew her mother don't have that kind of money. The process continued, but then an elderly man refused to make a call. "I have no family," he said, his voice calm despite the fear in his eyes. "There is no one to pay a ransom for me." The leader stared at him for a moment, then he smirked. "Good, we need a fresh sample." He signaled to two of his men. Before the old man could react, they grabbed him and dragged him towards a nearby tent. His screams echoed in the air, chilling everyone to the bone. "No, please, someone help me!" Then silence. A few minutes later, two kidnappers emerged from the tent, their hands stained with blood. Chinaza's stomach turned. Her vision blurred. She wanted to throw up. The leader turned to the remaining captives. His eyes burned with warning. "You now know we are serious," he said. "If your ransom is not paid, you will end up just like him." Chinaza's entire body shook as the reality of her situation fully sank in. She had ignored the warnings. Her mother warned her. Her friend Amaka warned her, but she didn't listen. Now she was facing death. Would she survive, or would she become the next victim? The next day, the dense forest was a place of nightmare, thick with the scent of damp earth, rotten leaves, and the sickening metallic odor of blood. The cries of the captives had long since died down, replaced by the low murmurs of despair. Time had lost meaning. Day and night had blended together in an endless cycle of suffering. Chinaza sat with her back against a tree, her body trembling from hunger and exhaustion. It had been many days since she was kidnapped. Days of hell. Her once vibrant face was now sunken, her skin dry and caked with dirt. Her clothes hung loosely on her frail body, and her lips was cracked from dehydration. Around her, the few remaining captives sat in silence, their eyes hollow. Some prayed in hushed whispers, others had given up entirely, staring blankly into the darkness. The gunmen barely fed them, throwing scraps of food, mostly rotten, that even dogs would refuse. Water was a luxury to them. Those who dared to complain were beaten mercilessly. At night, the forest was filled with the sound of terror, whimpers, gunshots, and the chilling screams of those taken away, never to return. Chinaza had seen things she would never forget. A mother had watched her son executed before her eyes after she pleaded for mercy. A young woman was dragged away, her screams echoing in the night. The next morning, her lifeless body was found, dumped in the mud, her organs missing. She should have listened to her mother. She should have stayed home. She should have prayed. Back in Enugu, Chinaza's mother, Mrs. Okafor, had not known peace since her daughter's disappearance. Her nights were spent in restless prayers, her days running from one church to another, seeking divine intervention. "Madam, we will continue to pray," the pastor assured her after yet another night vigil. "God will bring Chinaza home." But with each passing day, her hope dwindled. She had heard rumors of what the kidnappers did to their victims, and these thoughts sent shivers down her spine. She had gone to the police station countless times, begging for updates, but they had nothing to tell her. Then came the news that the bus driver had been arrested. Mr. Adams, the bus driver, sat in a dark, foul-smelling police cell, his wrist bruised from the tight handcuffs. "I am innocent," he shouted for the 100th time. "I didn't plan this. I was just a driver." The officer ignored him. He had been accused of working with the kidnappers, setting up the passengers for abduction. Someone had seen him talking to a strange man before the journey, and that was enough for the police to pin him as an accomplice. "Confess now," a policeman barked, slamming a baton against the table. You are lucky we haven't sent you to meet those kidnappers in hell. If you are not involved, why then did the kidnappers kidnap only the passengers and left only you to go? Tears rolled down Mr. Adams' face. His only crime was being the one who drove that ill-fated bus. But the police wanted a scapegoat. After mounting pressure from the public, the police finally sent a search party into the bush. But it was nothing more than a performance. The officers walked through the forest for a few hours, barely looking beyond the trees. One of them scratched his head. Maybe they have been moved out. Another shrugged. Or maybe they are already dead. My friend, make we come out for this bush before those kidnappers catch us and kidnap us too. I have a wife and kids, and I can't even die in this police work. After all, how much are they even paying us for us to come and die here just in vain? I suggest we return back to Oga and tell him we found nothing. Oga that earns more money than us is even in his office relaxing under AC, and we are here risking our lives. If we die here, nobody will take care of our families. Another man will now carry our wives. So I suggest we move out immediately and tell them we found nothing, one of the policemen, Officer Kunle, suggested. They left the bush, went and hid in one village where they drank and enjoyed bushmeat. By evening, they returned with their conclusion and reported to the office that nothing was found. Mrs. Okafor screamed when she heard the news. Go back! My daughter is in the forest. But the officers only shook their heads. The case was slipping away. That was when the military stepped in. The soldiers were different. They moved with purpose, combing the forest, determined to bring the captives home. For days they found nothing until they stumbled upon an old bushman. The hunter was a small weary man. He barely understood English, but with broken words and frantic gestures, he made one thing clear. He knew where the kidnappers were. The soldiers hesitated. Could they trust him? One of the officers stepped forward. Show us. The hunter led them through the thickest part of the forest, moving with surprising speed. Hours passed. Then suddenly, he stopped and pointed. The camp was ahead. The soldiers gripped their rifles, hearts pounding. They had found the den of death. They waited till night fell, and the military launched their attack. Gunfire erupted, tearing through the silence of the forest. The kidnappers were caught off guard, scrambled for their weapons, but it was too late. The soldiers moved with precision, taking them down one by one. The soldiers killed all the kidnappers and captured one of the kidnappers alive. Chinaza and the other captives huddled together as bullets whistled past them. The ground shook with the force of grenades exploding. Then silence. A soldier's voice rang out. We have survivors. Chinaza's body gave way and she collapsed into sobs. She was saved. 8 out of 18. That was all that remained. The survivors were rushed to the hospital. Their bodies weak, their spirits broken. They had endured starvation, terror, and the loss of their fellow passengers. The news broke out like wildfire. The kidnapped victims have been rescued. All the loved ones of the victims rushed to the barracks immediately, where they were directed to the hospital to meet their loved ones. When Chinaza saw her mother, she broke down into tears. Mama, I should have listened to you. I am very sorry. I didn't listen. God, forgive me. I didn't pray like my mother instructed. Mama, forgive me. I should have listened to you. Mrs. Okafor held her tightly, tears streaming down her face. My daughter, thank God you are alive. As they embraced, the pain, fear, and regret melted into that one moment of relief. Chinaza had ignored the warning. She had suffered for it. but she has survived.